Hi guys. I am going to do a demo today, and the demo is all about how many colors we can mix just using three colors. This here is Winsor Yellow, right? This one. This one is Winsor Red, and this is Prussian Blue. So I'm going to start off by seeing how many mixes I can get with the yellow. I'm going to start using the red, then I'll substitute to the blue, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to see the colors that I get. Actually, I also want to see the colors that I get using all three, okay? Because how I mix different colors, let's say for me to get my black, I never use black paint. So my challenge is going to be to see if I can mix neutrals and mix a black using these three colors like I would normally. Now, normally, two main colors for me that I use that I don't have right here is phthalo blue and phthalo green. Those two are pretty important colors in my palette, and I don't have those. So I'm going to be using this palette, and because I'm going to have to figure out the camera here. I can't get a wider angle shot with this overhead stand that I have. So I'm going to be relying on this small little palette for now. And this is kind of how we're going to roll on this just for today. Now this will be probably a two-part video because I have squares and I don't know if I will fill this whole thing up, but there are 15 across and 9 down. So I don't know. I know that you can mix hundreds of colors using three colors. So the test for us today is going to see, and the next filming, is to see how many colors we're going to get using these. And I know there's probably going to be some that I don't even think about. And those might end up way over on the other side of the sheet. I don't know yet. So I want you to just enjoy. And if you want to follow along, you can. Like I said, I have 15 1-inch squares going across and 9 1-inch squares going down. So that's quite a few colors. So if you want to follow along and make your own sheet, absolutely go for it. This is a really good way to learn color mixing, color variation, hue, all kinds of things. I'm not going to use values in this. I'm just going to be mixing just like one base color. This won't be a value study. This is just mixing. Okay, now some are going to go more towards, yellow. Some are going to go more towards blue. Some are going to go more towards red. But that's the whole process, is getting to know how to mix as many colors as we can using just these three. Okay, so I'm going to grab my water, grab my brushes, and let's get started. Okay, so I've got my brush. I'm going to be using, oops, excuse me. Whoops. What happens on the phone rings? Sorry about that, guys. At least it was a pretty song, right? A jazzy song. The Rippingtons. Okay, so I'm going to start off with this one just using some Winsor Yellow. I'll just put some straight Winsor Yellow down. I'm using my, I think this is like a, it's not, I mean, it's like a half inch flat brush. And I'm just going to be, put my glasses on just so I don't, it's like as days go by, it's like I need glasses more and more. So, okay, so I'm just going to put the Winsor Yellow down as my first, and this is just Winsor Yellow, straight, not mixed with anything. Just going to lay that down. That. And I'm going to go down this way. I'm going to go down and not across. Maybe I should go, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Winsor Yellow. Winsor Yellow. Well, no, I'm going to go down, not across. I hope I don't regret that decision, but okay, now I'm going to mix this with a little bit of red. We're going to mix it with a little bit of Winsor Red and see what happens, right? We got some nice, it's kind of like the consistency of heavy cream a little bit. So I'm going to add just a tiny bit of Winsor Red, just a tiny, tiny bit, and then add a little bit more as we go along. Just a tiny bit. This is more of a dominant color than the yellow, so I don't need that much on my brush. So let's just, I might have had too much on my brush. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more yellow to that because I had quite a bit on my brush. A little bit more than I wanted. I make color cards like this. And so that way, if you're trying to figure out like what color you should use, you can always refer to those color cards. I'm going to add some more yellow again, just to bring back some of that yellow in there. I just want a little idea of the mix. Almost all yellow and no red. Actually, okay. Okay. So this is wet right now. So I'm going to have to wait a minute until that dries before I can paint right up next to it, because if I don't, it's going to bleed right into that yellow square. And I don't want that to happen at all. Nope. So, yeah, I'm going to just wait a minute on that. Let's see. Oh, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so I had to use my heat gun to get that dried a little bit so that I can do this. All right, so let's go in here. Now that is not as thick of paint as that yellow was. It's definitely not a bright orange with this Winsor Red. And I know when I use alizarin crimson, it is almost like a burnt rust orange. I know I get beautiful oranges when I use opera pink. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous with opera. But then again, you got to be careful using opera because it is not permanent and it can be a little fugitive, meaning it will disappear over time, and that's something you have to really be careful about. So I'm just going to add a little bit more red to that, just a little bit. Well, I just used a tiny bit and I already got too much. Because that actually looks reddish to me. It almost looks like a cadmium red light right now, or cadmium scarlet. That's what that looks like to me. Yeah. Mixing is, it's little bits, it's experimenting. It's like an experimental project, you know? You don't just do it once with certain colors. You experiment and push it as much as you can. That one might be too close to that. I'm going to get my testing paper and test that. That might be too close to the other one. We shall see, won't we? We shall see. So we're going to test this. That's too close. So go back and add some more red. Like I was going to in the first place. I was going to add some more red. Just a touch. A little bit more. Yeah. Okay. We'll do that one. Because it's a little bit one step up. One step up. Okay, so on to the next phase of orange. The next stage of orange. The next one. A little orangier. It's still not a bright orange. A bright orange color. You need a cooler yellow to do that, I think. Like a cadmium lemon, which is a little cooler and brighter, maybe. But that is definitely more towards red now, for sure. And now we're going to add, that's a little bit too much red there. We're going to add a little more red. Just a little more. Maybe a little more. Let's try this. See what happens, right? See. Okay. Okay. That definitely reminds me of cadmium scarlet, for sure, or cadmium red light, like a orangey red. definitely. But this has to be dried again, so we are going to dry it one more time with the heat gun so we can proceed. So, be right back. Okay, so we're going to add a little more red again to this to see where that goes. Push it a little farther, a little farther. Yep, that's really close to that one. Really close. So, just add a little more. Hmm. Oops, I got a little sloppy there. That's a bummer. I didn't want that to happen. Nope, I did not want that to happen. Obviously, when you're looking at this chart, you realize by adding more water, colors become lighter, like adding white. So in watercolor, we don't add white paint, we just add more water, and the white of the paper acts as the white paint. Yep. So I'm gonna add probably this might take it all the way to Winsor Red by adding this last one. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's really close. So I need a little. Okay. Okay. Gotta wait on that one till it dries. Okay. Oh, that is too much. These are really close. It's almost like that's almost the same color. Almost the same color. Yeah. So I'm going to do something here. I'm going to add a tiny bit of Prussian Blue. And I say tiny. Hey, Remy. 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 Quiet. So I'm adding a tiny bit of Prussian Blue. Actually, I'm going to add back in a little bit more of the Winsor Red because I see it coming more like an alizarin crimson color. Just a little bit more of that red. Let's get a little bit more of that red in there. Just a tad bit. Okay, so this kind of reminds me of a cadmium red light. I mean dark, I'm sorry. Cad red dark, maybe? Cad red deep. Let's just add a little bit more of that red. Yes. Yep. I move that over just a little bit so I can get my arm in here. Okay. Here's that. Gonna add some more blue to the next mix, just a touch. All right, let's see. I know I'm probably gonna have to add more. Yeah, a little more. Hmm. Mm-hmm. It's okay, Remy. My dog is he's on the chair looking at me, laying on his side, looking at me, whining because I'm not playing with him. No, Remy, I can't play right now. There we go. That's the one I want. Yeah, that's the one I want. Adding a little bit more glue. Now, I thought I would be leaning more towards purple, but I'm not. So we're gonna check that out for sure. Absolutely. But before I put this down right here, again, this one has to dry. So we wait once again. this is a slow, tedious process, but it is gonna give you more understanding of color mixing and what colors you get when you use certain colors. Now, I am going to be adding yellow back in because I want to see if because I know by making orange and by mixing orange with blue, I can get a neutral. So I'm going to go back to mixing an orange and then adding the Prussian blue to see if I can get that neutral gray black that I'm looking for. But right now I'm just going to go forward with the blue and see where that takes me. So I have a few more colors to do, and yeah, I want to push it as much as I can by how much of each color I add, and that'll determine what color I get. Okay, so I had to add just a little bit more blue to get this a shade different. Yep, right there. Okay. And now for the next one, a little bit more blue. See, I really thought I would get some kind of purple going on, but so far no purple. And I don't know if it's because there's still some of that yellow in there, but we shall see. Because I love purple, would love to get a beautiful purple out of this. Yeah, it's still too much the same. Add more Prussian blue. Whoa, that's a lot of Prussian blue. Nope, still need a little bit more. A little bit more. I see a little bit of purple in there, but not a whole lot. I just want to see what that's really dark. Nice rich color. Yep. So, okay. Wait till it dries again. But so far, we have there's a lot more colors where that came from for sure. A lot more color where that came from. Okay. That looks okay. Supposedly different, but Now on the screen, guys, it looks darker. It's not. Okay. I would like to try this using phthalo blue actually and see what kind of colors I could get just switching out the blue because that is a brighter blue. So that part of me would love to see what I would get if I was using a brighter blue. I mean, I never use Prussian blue in my paintings, so this is a total uh, experiment for me. I never use Prussian blue. Well, I used to when I started painting with watercolor in the very beginning, but not for the last 30 years, maybe longer, have I used Prussian blue. So, like I said, this is a switch, and it's still a little bit too close to that one, so I'm going to add just a bit more, a little bit more. I don't know if I'm seeing anything different from this or not. It's almost a black, which I was looking for. Well, I'm getting the gray that I wanted. I am getting that. Mhm. Too bad I didn't do the values on this because I would be getting a lot different. Like, as you can see, when I mix this and then I put it out in the palette tray, um, I am getting that grayish. Well, on the screen right now, it looks purple, but in person, to me, it looks more gray. So that's what we got going there. So that is the um, adding a little bit water, less paint. That's what we're getting there. So, okay. So I'm going to just do a thinner version to see the color. I mean, if I do it thick like I did this one and that one, I'm going to get black, black, black. But and I'm getting my neutral gray. I am getting that. We are getting that. So that's kind of nice. Yep. It's good to know. Oh, I forgot about this paper that I'm using. It's Canson watercolor paper. I'm not a fan of it, really. Never really have been a big fan of it. Um, when you add another coat, it lifts the color that you put down. So you got to be a little careful with that. So I'm going to add more blue. I got a lot of paint here. A lot of paint. A lot, a lot, a lot. I'm still not getting a purple purple. Still not getting a purple, which I'm going to try just mixing the Winsor red and the Prussian blue together to see what I get. Like I said, I don't know if it's because I had the yellow in here in the beginning, but I'm really not getting that purple that I was hoping to get. So, mm, mm, mm. Let's add a little bit more blue. Just a little bit more blue. Yep, because it's too close to the other one. So, pretty close to the other one, but it is more blue. So, we can keep that. Keep that. Okay, so that's a little bit different. A little bit more on the blue side. Okay, so what I'm going to do on this one, this square, I'm going to add more yellow. Just a touch of yellow and see what it does. Oh my. Well, let's see. I'm going to have to change my water. Definitely going to have to change my water because okay, so I've added some yellow. Now I don't want to get mud. I don't want to mix mud. I want to be very careful as to not mix mud. Yep. Don't want to mix mud. So what I'm getting here is I mixed yellow to this mixture, and this is what I'm getting here. It's a greenish gray, greenish neutral. It's got just a tint of green, just a tint, but it's a nice neutral that I can use. Yep. Hmm. Okay. So now let's add some more yellow to the mixture. right? I know when I use phthalo blue and I use cadmium yellow light and, oh gosh, my favorite mixture, cad yellow light, phthalo blue, and, oh my gosh, dioxazine violet, I get a beautiful khaki color. Hmm. Yeah, so that I'm getting more of a green, obviously. Kind of like a dark army green almost. Now, mind you, this is still coming from that mixture that we started with the orange, and I just kept adding more color to it. So this is what we're getting as we go along. Yep. Oops, I'm sorry, you guys can't even see that. I apologize. Um, so you can see that color right there. And that is more like a green, a dark army green. And let's add more yellow. See what color greens we're going to get. Take a little bit of paint off the brush. See what we get there. That's still a little bit too close to that one. So we'll add more yellow. So yellow is, let's put it this way. Prussian blue is definitely more of a dominating color. So you're going to have to add a lot more yellow to make a difference. So it's always better to start off with the dominating color. But in this case, I wanted to go the opposite way with the yellow to see where it would take me. So I just added a bunch more yellow to this. Not a bunch, just another dip. Definitely olive green. Yep, olive green. And that is because there is red in this mixture, for sure. Absolutely. It's because there's red in there. Okay. So there is that. And we're just going to keep going. Mixing more yellow. Okay, what color do we have here? It's a little brighter. I think I want to make it even more brighter, just a touch. Because it's a little close to that one. Just a little bit. Okay. Well, is that too close? Oh, it's a little brighter. Now, you would consider these a warm green because of the fact that it has the red in it. Absolutely. A cooler green would have more blue, lean more towards the blue. But this is what we're getting here. Don't want that to bleed in there. I gotta be careful. Okay, so we're gonna add more yellow to that. See what we get, right? There's a light glare on that, and I really am sorry that there's so much glare. I'm gonna try something real quick. That helps a little bit. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, sorry about that, guys. I'll do this. Maybe I will turn this one off. Oh, maybe that works a little better, but maybe not. Okay, well, alright, so I'm going to add more yellow. More Winsor Yellow to the mix. We'll see what it looks like on this test paper. Not much of a difference yet, so I need more yellow. Because we want to see a difference, like one solid step up for sure. So this is kind of like, I apologize because it's kind of like watching paint dry, but you have to be able to go step by step. Just take your time. I mean, it's kind of relaxing to do this, um, for sure. I'm just going to give this a little shot with the air dryer up. Okay, it's definitely brighter. Definitely. This one reminds me sort of green gold, but not as not as bright. I do love that color, green gold. I know Daniel Smith has it. One of my favorite greens. Yep, that's a beautiful green. Definitely, you'll see this in nature. Beautiful green. Okay. I don't wanna there. Okay. So here we go with more yellow, people. More yellow. Oops. Oops. I picked up some of that blue. It means I have to add more yellow to this because that one is right back there. Yep, I took it back. So I need to bring it up again. Still a little bit too close. Damn, I wipe my brush like that, I'm wasting paint. I hate that. I don't like to waste paint. Absolutely not. Oh, I picked up more blue again. Darn. Darn, darn. Stay away from that. I should probably start over. Yep, still the same. I keep accidentally hitting that blue, which I don't want to do. Careful you don't pick up that blue again. Just stay in your lane. Okay. I know that's going to be brighter. Yes. Oh, that's a gorgeous color. Here we go. That's a gorgeous green. That's a real pretty green. Definitely. Definitely see this one in nature as well. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to have to add a lot more yellow again to this. A lot more. Yep. Let's see. Is this one the same? We're going to find out. We're going to find out if that's the same. Too much the same. Got to add more yellow. More yellow. Okay. Let's see. Well, it needs to be a little bit more yellow. We need a little bit more. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. Beautiful colors that we're getting here just by just by going from up and down. There we go. Okay. We've only got, we'll see what we come up with at the end here, right? I'm going to have to switch my sheets here and go to this one. That is pretty close to the last. Oh, no, I guess not. It's a little brighter. So we shall see. It's almost back to the original color. Look at that. It's almost right back there. So that's interesting. That's very interesting. Will we bring it all the way back or not? Full circle, so to speak. Did we go full circle? Nope. Okay, so nope, I think we're back full circle. Could be that we are back full circle. If not, close. Very close. Very close. I mean, I see a subtle difference, but it doesn't hit you in the face, that's for sure. Okay, so basically almost came back full circle here. So the next color after this I'm going to work on, we're going to start from the red, from the Winsor red. But I think, guys, that's probably good for now. I've kept you on here for about an hour. And like I said, I don't want you to feel like you sat and watched paint dry. These two are almost identical. I probably, I don't know, maybe I put too much yellow in there. But this one seems a little darker. So anyway, we're experimenting, right? So I see, like, if I took this one out of there and put these two together, I see more of a step. This one is a little bit of an oddball. So, and I don't really want to mess with that right now. I mean, I'm going to have to leave it. Oh, shoot. Let's see. I don't want to mess with it. Because if I add, well, I added just back a little bit of that original green color. Just a little bit. So it's a little bit different. Not a lot, that's for sure. Not a lot. Now these two are almost the same, it looks like. So I wonder if I can adjust this and get this just a little bit more in between. A little bit. That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. But we'll really tell when it dries what it's going to look like. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to let that sit. So anyway, guys, that's what we've got now, with starting off with the Winsor Yellow, going into the Winsor Red, keep going into the red, and then at this point, I started adding a little bit of the blue. And then I kept going with the blue. And then at this point, I added in some of that yellow down here. Sorry. This is where I added some of the yellow back in, and then kept going with the yellow to see what we could get in the warm greens. Okay. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching, and we will start with the red. I'm going to do the Winsor Red, and that was the Winsor Yellow start. So we'll go from there. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more color mixing with 3 colors. Thanks, guys.